Good Tuesday evening. I don't know why it always mutes me last, but welcome to another edition of the Sideline Junkies Tuesday night flight. It's the big guy KG, sitting in with probably the biggest Brooks and Dunn fan that I've ever met in my life outside of myself. He was just singing Neon Moon a little while ago.
Okay.
Oh, if you lose your one and only. See, now that's the Midnight Rider. Now let me say this, and I'm being quite honest when I say this. Neon Moon has to be one of the greatest unwind songs of the evening. When you've had a hard day of work, you're tired, you're worn out, and you put on Neon Moon, and you sit back. You know, you might have a beer, you might have a little something in your cup, but you're sitting there, you sipping it. You're on the back deck, on the balcony, and you're just watching the sun go down, listening to Neon Moon. Yeah.
That sounds dope, man.
Yeah. I mean, I have a certain list of songs that I like to listen to at the end of the day. Like the end of a summer day, golden time of day is probably my biggest go-to. But the end of every day, it's 5 o'clock somewhere and Papa Top are my two go-tos to end my day.
Let's think about this. End of the day, riding home from work. What's my joint? It's a classic. Enchantment is You That I Need. That's my road song. You can get all the old man vibes. Like when I get out the car, I'm gonna have on sandals. My socks gonna be up to my knees. They can be black. I'm gonna have some shorts on with a little Kango. Oh boy. I hope I didn't lose me. Hello.
No, you keep going. You can
still hear me? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right, cool, man. I wasn't sure. I'm frozen, so I was just wondering if I should just let it go. But it's You That I Need, and then Payback is a Dog. That's my old man getting out the car, summertime. That's my joints.
Damn. You know, they say superheroes supposed to have their own theme music. You got your own, when you pull up, everybody know it's you just pulling up.
What? So when I used to work at when I was at Enterprise at the airport, it was Eminem. What's the joint where it talks about not the ring, the pinky, but it's the middle? Yeah, that's how I felt about that space at that time. So it was that. When I used to work in Clinton, I used to go into what is that? Stevie Wonder Overjoyed. Stevie Wonder Overjoyed was a banger. What else? Oh, Sam Cooke, Get Some Bump. What else do I listen to? Morning songs how can I not say this? Raheem DeVaughn, Guess Who Loves You More? That is that's a morning crank for me. People be like, yo, how you start your day with? I'm like, yo, it's just the song, man. It's the vibe from the song. You know what I'm saying? You gotta tell a chick, pinky swear. I always be there. You know what I'm saying?
See, I got a list too. Pull up Trouble Man by Marvin Gaye.
Oh yeah, okay.
I used to pull up, and my aunt used to say, I already knew it was you because I heard Trouble Man. Yeah, that's me. Then, it evolved. Now, when I used to work in Forestville, I used to pull up on Saturday mornings with the all four windows down, because I didn't live but 4 or 5 minutes away. So all I had to do was start the song when I walked out, I left out the parking lot. By the time the song got to the climax, I was at work. Temperatures Rising by Raheem DeVaughn. And I'm talking about that thing was beating. Everybody was like, well, damn, what happened to you last night? Don't even worry about it. We're going to do these 4 and get up out of here. I got to go to the gym.
So what about, you a big fan, since you do some Raheem out there, you a big fan of Ridiculous?
Of course.
Okay. Yeah. And then I forgot my ultimate classic, because now if I'm something like got an interview or I gotta dress up,
Go tell mom come here real quick.
I gotta play Walk On By. Isaac Hayes.
You said who? Isaac Hayes walking by.
Yes, sir. Because you gotta get that build up.
Yeah. Now see, I like to Raheem DeVaughn. I have a thing with my wife, and I always say the soundtrack of Our Love was written by Gerald Levert and Raheem DeVaughn. And it's one particular song that I love. We had a second floor balcony. I used to pull to the back of the building where our balcony faced. And I would always turn the song on. I let all the windows down, open up all the doors. And I would play Infinity. I can do life forever if the crime was loving you.
I know that's right. That's a dope. Yo, that's one of the dopest lines he got.
And she's standing here, and I tell her that song right there. I said I would pay if every day I could have you walking down the aisle to that song. I said I probably wouldn't be able to contain my emotions, but if I could pay every day to have you walk down the aisle to that song, life is great.
That's what's up, man.
And Ross is in here. What you making tonight, Ross? He making dinner. I'm glad you could join us. What you making tonight? How did that chili turn out? Are we having chili dogs tonight? That's the question. Are we doing chili dogs tonight?
Oh,
well, we got to get into this thing as well, because we didn't talk about music. We'll end this thing. We'll start it with music. We'll end it with music. Oh, breakfast for dinner. Oh, we got to go to Raw's house.
See?
Oh, breakfast for dinner. Oh man. Look, I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole, because if you listen to this show, you watch this show, you know how it is. We start talking about food. That sounds delectable. Oh my God, breakfast for dinner. This gave me an idea. I think I got dinner for Friday. Nope, that's dinner for Thursday. Because Friday, I'm making some fish. I got to make some fish and potatoes on Friday.
The Tribe Called Quest on the Movement album that opens up the JP Finley show. That's another one. I can't think of the name of it right now off the top of my head, but I'll figure it out. Go ahead.
The simple fact that you brought up the Tribe, y'all, it's live, y'all.
Oh, we brought this guy last week. Umi Says, Most Def. That's definitely a morning song.
Yeah, well, see, mine was the chili dog. It all turned out okay. Of course it did, because you did it. That's why it turned out good. Miss Fat Booty.
Okay,
that's like my joint. I was listening to that. What day was that? It was, matter of fact, the day that I was on location, I was driving around, and I was listening to Miss Fat Booty right before we got on. It's like whenever I'm going to the grocery store, that's always what I'm listening to.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, we can get happy. I can't say we can't get ecstatic, and look. T-shirts are being sold for events. Burgundy and sold. Daniel Snyder's trying to get things situated with his issues with the NFL so he can get rid of this team. The end is near, and I've never thought that phrase would bring me so much joy. It's like we've been in a bad storm, that we've had peaks of sunshine over the last 24 years. We've had peaks of sunshine, but it never lasted. It's been mostly dreary and dark and cloudy. If you remember that episode of Married with Children, when they had to kill all the Bundy men and lower Uncton so the sunlight could shine. That's what it's like being under Daniel Snyder for the last 23 years. We live in lower Uncton. We mad at upper Uncton, which is Dallas, who's had more success in the last 20-something like years. And we're mad at them, but we in the darkness. But it seems like there's light on the horizon.
So every time I look at this, I feel like I feel like Wile E. Coyote at times. Like I just don't think anything else is coming. Like, you know how he paints the wall and it looks like a tunnel, and like the roadrunner goes through it, and then he tries to go through and he just runs into the wall. That's what it feels like being a Commanders fan. Or like you buy a bunch of stuff at Acme and it always ends up blowing up on you. That's being a Commanders fan.
I can't deny that.
Like somebody made this analogy, and it's the perfect one. It's like when he puts out the trail of gunpowder to light up the dynamite, and like he can see it go around the corner, and he knows it's supposed to blow up, but it doesn't. And then like it comes around, and then like he just turns around, and boom, right there. That's the Daniel Snyder era.
Can you honestly say that you're ready to jump? We can't jump for joy until it's official. We can't jump for joy. We jumped for joy prematurely once. We can't do it again.
I keep telling you, I'm not good until I see like the deposit hit. Like I want them to show me a picture of Dan Snyder's bank account with him and his Timbs. You know what I'm saying? On the boat. Like I need that type of thing, man. I don't.
But here's the thing. You know, he's going to sell his team because I heard he sold his home in Potomac.
Right. Well, he's trying.
He's going to be out of Dodge. Now, here's my thing.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this, because you may remember. I know that the sale of the team, which is a record at the time, was $800 million.
Mm-hmm.
How much of that money did he put in off break? Because he had investors. He had a group.
There's even a crazier story off of that. Thanks to the mind of, what's the word I'm looking for? The endless pit of knowledge that is Rick Snyder on DC Sports. He talked about the fact that when the deal fell apart with Milstein, that FedEx Fred is what they call him, was thinking about making a counter offer. And for some reason, Fred didn't, and Snyder jumped in and caught him. I guess he was trying to prepare the offer, and Snyder just jumped in and was able to get the team over him. But FedEx Fred was really in position and was ready to bid $1 billion for this franchise. So, I mean, that's one of the ultimate what ifs in this world. That goes into the what if Hall of Fame of what ifs for us as fans.
And Ross says, us fans have battered spouse syndrome. We ain't trusting nobody until the little troll sails away. I agree with that. Damn it, I agree with that. And it's like, you want to give...
Hold on. I'm sorry. It's funny that he said that. Because I used to have a post every once in a while during football season, like after they did something stupid. And I was like, the Redskins don't love you. Well, no, the Redskins don't have to hit you to know they love you or show they love you. Some crazy shit like that. And I used to post it all the time. So it fits in with Ross's battered spouse syndrome.
Here's my thing. You try to give Daniel Snyder the benefit of the doubt. And I've learned over these last 23, 24 years, you can't get hyped up over little things. I remember, even this is before Snyder, I remember getting hyped up. What was that, 97? We lost the first game to the Eagles, reeled off 7 straight. First in the NFC East.
Is that Noah's year?
Yeah. And we went one. Yeah. That was with Gus, too.
Not this year. Don't do this to me, dog.
What?
Because is this the year that Boomer threw for like 2,000 yards in 2 games?
No. That was 95, 94. I remember those 2 games.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
Hold on. Let me make sure I got this right.
Because there's one where we started like 7-1, but we ended 8-8.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. 97 was 8-7-1. That was if we didn't have that tie with the Giants, we would have we would have been all right. But that tie with the Giants messed us up. Let me make sure I got this right. 9-7. Is this the year? Regular season. Oh.
But
yeah.
I mean,
it was 96. I'm sorry. It was 96, 97. 96, we started 7-1. Lost to the Eagles 17-14. But then we reeled off 7 straight victories. Beating the Bears, the Giants, the Rams, the Jets, the Patriots, the Giants again, the Colts. Then we go up to Buffalo and get shellacked 38-13. That Arizona game. Oh my God. Please give me a box on that. Is that the Arizona game?
Yes, that is the nightmare. That's the 514 or 437. It's something crazy. He went crazy for 2 games.
Yeah.
We basically got him paid that year if he was a free agent.
Yeah, and I remember the headline in the sports section was Arizona lowers the boomer.
Right.
And it's crazy because that year Arizona was still in our division.
Right.
And division wise, we were what were we in the division? We beat the Eagles. If we would have won one of those Arizona games, we would have made the playoffs because Arizona kept beating us on kicks. I do remember that. Heartbreaking. But if we won one of those Arizona games, we would have made the playoffs. And that's all we wanted at that time, to make the playoffs. But I stopped believing in the moves that this team made, or any team for that matter, because how many times did we sign a big free agent? Have a great draft pick. I remember when they was talking about Dallas Sarts and HB Blades and all these people. These guys look so great in training camp and they didn't bust a grape. You get hyped up about them and they don't bust a grape. You know, we had the Fortune 500 Redskins under Daniel Snyder. He tried to buy a championship in 2000 and it did not work. I mean, you brung Bruce Smith here. I think Dion got what he needed. And then he pretty much discarded the burgundy and gold pinstripe suit in the corner and walked out with the money. You had some structure with Marty Schottenheimer. Yeah, you had structure. You ended that to bring in Steve Spurrier. Steve Spurrier was like, well, we're going to go with 6 wide receivers. Well, Steve, you can't go with 6 wide receivers because that means you're going to be down an offensive lineman. Well, we don't only need 4 offensive linemen to block. When he said that, I knew we were doomed.
I knew we were doomed when they signed him. I mean, I thought it would be exciting, but if you know me, there are certain coaches that I don't respect because they always have talent. So their talent is better than their coaching. And they don't have to coach. They don't have to manage the small things because they got better players. That's kind of how I feel about Urban Meyer. He just had better talent. And because he had better talent, he wins. And that's what the ball coach was.
Going back to the Boomer thing, he threw for the 5th best passing yardage in NFL history with 522 yards. That was the first game, I believe. 522. 522. He killed us. He shredded us. But my point is, you don't get hyped up about the moves that, especially when Daniel Snyder wanted to be Jerry Jones so goddamn bad. And everybody was like, he don't want to be Jerry Jones. Yes, he does. He want to run everything. He want to be the Don. But he want to be John Gotti instead of being Paulie from Goodfellas. You see what I'm saying? And if you don't get that reference, Paulie from Goodfellas sat back and everybody came to him. Paulie didn't move fast because Paulie didn't move fast for anybody.
Right.
John Gotti, the reason why John Gotti got caught, because he was holding meetings. Everybody had to come meet up to John Gotti. John Gotti talked on the phone. He wanted to do it the old way. You couldn't do it the old way anymore. You shouldn't be talking on the phone. Paulie didn't believe in phones. He didn't have one in his house. That's why Paulie never got caught. Daniel Snyder wanted to be John Gotti. He wanted to be He wanted to be Jerry Jones. That's what he wanted to be.
Well, that's the guy that kept him around for as long as he did.
Yeah,
I truly believe that Dan Snyder lasting this long was because Jerry wasn't fed up yet. And then at a certain point, Jerry got fed up. I don't know if it was after the picture at the stadium or what, but it wasn't too short or too long for that. And that's when everything just started falling apart.
And Ross says, every year we drink the Kool-Aid, then get kicked in the sack. Every year we believe that this year we're going to be headed back to being a respectable franchise. Charlie Brown and Lucy sum up being a Washington fan under Snyder. Yank the damn ball away every damn time. Yep. And I agree. It's like we are. I think we all. This
need a counseling session.
Therapy. Yeah, we need therapy.
Yeah.
We need it. That's what we need because we are.
Because I think the sad thing is, this guy's only gonna get. He's gonna get his honeymoon for this year because he can't really make any moves. He's gonna get a freebie next year. And this is all while trying to figure out if he can get a stadium deal done. So I think that's going to be his thing. I think if he can get a stadium deal made up or put together in 2 years, then he'll be okay. But after 2 years, if there's no signs, then I think that's where our problem begins. And that's going to be where the patience starts wearing thin. And it's going to be, all right, what's up with this guy?
Guess what?
Go ahead, talk to me.
It's not even going to be 2 years. We are so stalled for a winner. It's going to be, well, why is he not making any moves? I guarantee you, and it happens every single time. Any new piece comes into this organization, why is he not making any moves? Why is he not doing this? Why are we not winning? This is what happens. Whether if it's a player, well, case in point, Colt Brennan. Why are they not playing Colt Brennan? Look at what he did against the Jets. Why are they not signing Marcus Mason? They're preseason warriors. I think Colt Brennan with a little bit of coaching could have been great because he knew how to. June Jones had him throwing that rock around in Hawaii, and
but see, when guys see the problem with places like that is when guys come from a simplistic system and they get into stuff with verbiage, like they get as lost as the they get lost in the concepts.
Oh,
right. I mean, and if you've seen, this is why you got to watch the quarterback series if you haven't started watching it yet. I think it's either episode 3 or 4 where they start spitting out play calls. So it's Mariota, Cousins, and who's the big Pat Mahomes. So they just like the episode opens like yeah, we study, and then it's like Chippewa Jet, 44 cushion razor, I don't know, Spanky to the Y, whatever. 74 trips, Y shallow cross, flip, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's like those are the words in the play. You gotta remember because the first part is the formation, the second part is the protection, and then everything else is like what everybody else does. So you gotta listen for your part. And I think when guys come from systems where it's like, especially in like a June Jones system, to me doesn't seem like it's that complicated.
It's running shoot.
Yeah, it's running shoot. So you're keeping it very simplistic because 38, like so in college, they had like a team. We had like a club team, and they ran the run and shoot. And like I was on the offense for a couple of days. I didn't stay long because I didn't really want to do it after a while. But like our play sheet was like 8 plays, but every play, like if you were in the slot, you had 7 routes on the same play. And it was all based on where the linebacker sat, where the safety sat. It was all craziness, man. So I can only imagine.
Whatever happened to goal line, I wing, 70 chip on 2?
That's not.
No, it's golf jet stream,
right?
Y2 spider banana light bulb, jet sweep, backside George reverse on 2.
Right?
Like, what?
Check. Spider 2 Y banana. Spider 2.
Like even the verbiage for Audible
Right.
is whatever happened to coming up to the line, looking over, Black 59 Razor, Black 59 Razor. I even know what that is. I know what Black 59 Razor is. That's you all into a post down the middle.
So
in the West Coast offense, it is.
Right. I know what you're talking about. You gotta get the Ross comment because this is the classic of audibles.
Oh yeah, Omaha, and Omaha can mean so many different things.
So when we used to play flag ball, I had a joint. I'm claiming mine before Omaha came out. So I used to say Tango, and I used to love it because one of my boys that played wide receiver, he would look and he'd give me a head nod and like always take 2 steps in, no matter what. It was nothing. It meant absolutely nothing. But we would just call it, and I just like to see what people would say or would do.
I bullshit you not. I don't even know if my sons remember this. We used to be in the house, like when I had my own place, bachelor pad, my living room was wide open. I just had 2 sofas and a coffee table. So when I got rid of the coffee table, because I didn't want them jumping on the coffee table, so I got rid of the coffee table, gave them some space to jump. We would play football in the living room and in the dining room. And they would play center. So I would get in shotgun. I would call the play. The play was trips left, shotgun trips left. What the fuck was the play? Shotgun trips left. Y69 post. Something 689. 689 hook. That was the play. So when I would come up to the line, my youngest son, now he was like 2 or 3 at the time. He would get down, and I look, and I'm like, Leo, 56, Leo, 56, and he would take his left hand, he would point to the middle. So he knew, Leo, I need you to shift everything to the left. I forget what was the right. I forget the audible to shift everything to the right. It was like an R word. It would shift everything to the right.
Tango, probably.
Yeah, but then everything tight was Tango.
Right.
But we had dummy auto. Like I taught these kids. What
was it? Red 98.
Red 98. That's what it was. That was a shift right.
I'm impressed that he remembers that.
Yes, it would shift everything to the right, block to the right, because that's where the blitz coming from. And then I told them both. I said when you got to change it, you audible, you change that thing, and it's like you make up a dummy call, and I was like, okay, it's a dummy call. It means nothing. He can ready to take off and run. It was a straight QB draw. So nobody's gonna expect that. I took them outside, and they did that against other kids and was dominating. I said, I know it, but I love the audibles, man. I love it. Yeah, I agree. Moving on, because we can sit here. I don't even know how we got there.
I don't either, man.
We don't even have corn dogs. I don't even know how we got there. If you had to choose 3 moments that define the Snyder era, it can be good, bad, or indifferent.
All right, so I've kind of been toying with this all day. I think number 1 is the Joe Gibbs reunion tour. That's 1. 2 is the Schottenheimer firing or the Schottenheimer year, period. Because there's rumors that Schottenheimer was pretty much gone after training camp. He wasn't getting another year after that. So 1, 2. I think the RG3 trade is 3. I got 5. I think I got 5 because I can't. Because it's so much that I got 4, which would have been 1, but 4 is the turning down or bullshitting with Larry Hogan when he had that deal for them to go over there by the harbor. Because it was pretty much done. He wasn't going to have to come out of pocket with a whole bunch of money, but he decided to mess around, go back to Virginia, and try to get every last drop from Virginia. And this was Bruce, part of Bruce. And when that happened, Hogan came out in the press conferences like, you're not going to use us to raise the price or whatever. So you either take our deal or you don't take our deal. and that's as far as we're going. And I think 5 is the hiring of Bruce Allen.
Now,
but here's the thing: if 4 happens, we're not here.
Yeah,
there's a me and you in the quantum verse or the multiverse that knows a world where there is a stadium in the harbor, and they're still stuck with Dan Snyder. They can't talk about it because the stadium piece has been taken care of. That's really the reason he's out.
Okay. Damn, I might have 5, but I'm along the different lines because it's not all about the negativity.
I didn't mean to be negative, but I'm just saying
you can do what you got to do.
Right.
Number 1 has to be. I got to agree with you with the Gibbs reunion tour. January 2004. That week alone. That was January 8th. Yes, that was January 8th when Gibbs signed, if I'm not mistaken. It was either 7th or the 8th. I think it was the 8th because Dario, his mom, was in labor with him, and I was watching it in the delivery room. Joe Gibbs press conference. I was like, okay. And it's like 3 things happened in 12 hours that I knew it was something special about this kid. Joe Gibbs signed back to the Redskins. He was born, and then it snowed right after. I was like, it's something special about this boy. Something special about him. I don't know what it is.
And then also Cool Ranch the Rip. No, I'm joking.
But bringing Gibbs back was number 1. The way that he rallied the team and helped rally the team, and his response after Sean Taylor's death was 2. Because he could have just been like, I don't give a fuck. Ain't gonna bring him back. But he took the forefront on a lot of that and dealt with the brunt of a lot of things. And he, behind closed doors, what I'm hearing allegedly is he blames himself for that. Because he was the one that said it was okay for Sean to go back to Florida to rehab. Gibbs didn't want him to go. Gibbs wanted him to stay in Virginia. But he made it so he could go back to Florida to check on the house. So there's that. But the way he handled that, and I can't imagine him walking around with that amount of pain, because that's a lot. 3.
Sort of. So it's Gibbs is 1.
Gibbs is 1. The reaction to Sean Taylor's death.
Okay. So you made that a separate piece. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And then also in there with Gibbs, Monday Night Miracle.
Let's name it.
Monday Night Miracle. I mean, my mother threatened to put me out that night. She's like, I got to go to work if you don't take your black ass to bed.
That day, man. I'll never forget that day. Because I was so pissed at the game. Like we had a love seat, sofa, and the TV's in the middle, and there's a table in the middle. And like, it was like I was playing Madden because it was so close. Like I had pulled a chair in the middle of the living room, and I'm sitting in the chair and I'm like this watching the game. And then like so I'm cussing everybody out. Everybody's terrible. This is god awful. And then the first one goes up, and I'm like, wait a second. So I'm hyped now. I even think I had the front door open. I'm yelling, I'm screaming, I'm pounding my whatever. So then they come back and they hit the second one. Bruh. I feel sorry for anybody who had to work the next morning. I was in that joint going off.
That I think that and when McNabb beat Dallas. That was a Monday night game. It was just big because we beat Dallas. And
you sure that's not the Colt McCoy and the Bashaud Breeland game?
No. This is at FedEx. It was a Monday night.
Okay.
So this is McNabb's only year here.
So that's like 2011 or 2010, one of those years.
I had my door open. I had my balcony door open. And I could hear my neighbor talking about, yeah, big Cowboy fan. Yeah. So all you hear in the courtyard, you hear the Cowboy fan. Then all of a sudden they got quiet. And then you heard somebody come outside and, fuck Dallas. How y'all like us now? And that's what
that was somebody, or was that somebody on the show?
No.
Okay, I'm just checking.
I was yelling too loud that it was coming back. It was holding. Game over. We good. We won this. That was my thing. Okay. But my third moment that defined the scandal. That scandal is going to be a stain on his jacket for the rest of his life. That's something that defined the cesspool that was created at Redskin Park.
The only I like that, and I probably would have had it if we went to 10. That would probably be 6 or 7. Wow, that's because that kind of became their story became the impetus of getting. They put us here on the precipice of getting rid of Dan Snyder because that, of course, the emails with Bruce Allen brings us to them having the congressional hearing, and then boom. There we go. We're right there talking about it, and we're dealing with it. So yeah, all right. I like that. I like that. That's a strong 3.
Yeah, I could have went to 5.
It's easy. That's the sad thing. It's too easy.
Yeah, but if I had to go 4, the way he handled RG3. Let me rephrase that. Let me bring that back.
No, that's the right way to say it.
The way he meddled with player personnel. Because it wasn't just RG3. It was him, Clinton Portis, Haskins. The way he meddled. And I can't think of the gentleman's name. God, I can't think of his name. But he was saying it was a player. He was like, no, that's not the player we need right now. He walked out of the war room. Because Snyder was like, this is who I want. And he wound up quitting, allegedly, a couple of weeks later. But he was actually fired.
Because you might be talking about Morocco Brown. Doc's boy. Doc loved Morocco Brown.
But if you notice, all the good people that were here, like Tony Wiley. Tony Wiley left the organization. Tony Wiley's a good dude.
Hold on. Let's get back to. All right, so there's talk that there became friction between Gibbs and Snyder. Which helped part of the reason why Joe left, because he was just done with it.
Okay.
There's the infamous. Again, I gotta give credit to Rick Snyder. There's the infamous when he fired Casserly. Dan Snyder called Bobby Beathard, offered him the job as a GM. Beathard said, I got to think about it. According to Snyder, Rick Snyder, not Dan Snyder, Dan Snyder calls Bobby Beathard back, or his lawyer calls Bobby Beathard back later on. And this is all just what hearsay from what I heard from Rick Snyder. And he told Bobby Beathard he had an hour to let him know what he was going to do. And then every 10 minutes, the lawyer called. Hey, it's 10 minutes in. You know what you want to do? All right, you got 50 minutes left. 20 minutes in. It's 20 minutes in. You know what you're going to do? You got 40 minutes left. So by the time they got on the other side of that 30 minutes, when that 40 minutes in and 20 minutes left came up, Bobby Beathard told him where he could take that job and shove it. And that's why you didn't have Bobby Beathard. Like, there's so much stuff that this guy screwed up.
Yeah.
There's Bobby Beathard. There's Brian LaFemina. Because you wouldn't have Jason Wright if he had stayed with LaFemina. But the problem was LaFemina was being personal and very public, and he was trying to fix the things that Dan Snyder would messed up. But Dan Snyder didn't want that to happen. He didn't want a great relationship with the media or whatever it was, but he ruined the because Lafemina was sent here from the league. Just like Jason Wright is here from the league. That's like Ron Rivera is here from the league. The league has said, all right, we don't trust you to hire somebody that's competent. Here's our suggestion. Go with our suggestion.
I got another one for you. The hiring of Vinny Serrato.
I got an even better one for you. The hiring of Jim Zorn.
That's the one I was going to go to next.
Because how do you, think about this. It's, all right, you're the offensive coordinator. And then they dropped the Jim Fossil balloon to see if he was going to land. And when that thing got shredded, popped, and kicked and thrown over the torches and pitchforks came out, he was like, all right, I got to readjust. But the job was so toxic that nobody wanted it.
Exactly. But
so think about it. He says, yo, go get a suit. What? Go get a suit? You hired him as your offensive coordinator before you hired your coach. Then you hire him as your coach because you ran out of options for a head coach.
But you hadn't. Hold on. Stop right there.
Now I know where you better go, Greg Williams.
Hold on. Let me get into the comments first, and then we're gonna dive into that real quick. Ross says they had good people in the building, they chased them away. Exactly. All of them. Think about the stuff we don't know. I don't think a book can be written to tell us the stuff we don't know because you can't even put it all in there.
All right, so here's what I said.
Swinging gate. That's what we said. That will go down in infamy.
So think about this would never be. Now think about it. I named 5 easy. Ross has named at least 4 easy. You had different 3 that we kind of intertwined, but we didn't really. Like this saga, it's gonna be the last dance for owners. That's what it's gonna be.
Let me say
it's gonna be called Surviving Snyder. 30 for 30.
Yeah. But now we talk about Snyder fumbling the bag.
Oh, if it was first 48, it could be the burgundy and gold, but the body goes cold. First 48. I'm sorry.
There it is. I like that. But here's how he fumbled the bag, especially with that Zorn thing. The whole deal was when Gibbs decided to hang it up, everything went to Greg Williams, so you had continuity in the building. We had a top 10 defense. Offense was struggling a little bit, but it needed some revamping. That could happen because Gibbs was still trying to play 80s ball, and it worked to a certain extent, but the game was different. It was no more power running. You couldn't run trade 25 times a game.
And we had Al Saunders' 800-page playbook.
Yeah. And then you bringing in Al Saunders. You bring in later on under Zorn, you bring in Sherm Lewis to call plays. You took his play calling duty away from him. Like Zorn was so miserable. He wanted to quit. You know why he didn't quit?
Because he probably didn't want to lose that money.
No, his wife told him, you bet not quit this job. This is the most money you've made in your whole entire career. You bet not quit this job. But one thing I can say about the Zorn hire, this is the best thing to come out of it. And people say I'm getting crazy for saying this. Jason Campbell had his best season. He had his best season as a pro under Zorn. But here's my thing.
So you gonna go ahead and get mad at me now?
Zorn has a track record.
No, it's not that. It's not that.
Flacco, Hasselbeck, Campbell, any
not that.
Out in Kansas City, what was that? Alex Smith, best seasons as a pro when Jim Zorn's your quarterback coach.
Yeah, that's kind of when I love Santana, but that Jason Campbell year, that season he hurt Jason Campbell a couple times. Now I don't know if it was just he wasn't in the Florida offense, but he dropped a couple bunnies on him. But that's just the fan in me. So we're gonna get past that. Let's get past that because I don't want that conversation. I don't want that smoke.
Well, speaking of Santana, what was that? Was that under? That was under Jay. That he was inactive almost every week. Best receiver on the team, and he was inactive almost every week.
But at that time, it was the end. Like his end was really the Shanahan era when he was in the slot. Like he could do things and get things, but yeah.
But
you know what? I think actually, if you go back to 2012, I think Santana had. I think he had 6 touchdowns that season.
Hold on, I'll find it for you.
Because I know he had the Jets touchdown. I mean, not the Jets, the Giants touchdown. He had the Eagles one. He had one against the Cowboys.
2012, Santana Moss, 16 games, 16 starts, only 41 receptions, 543 yards. He had 8 touchdowns that season.
There you go. I knew he had, because that year it was one of his higher totals for touchdowns. Because they used him a lot when he was in the slot. They used that little corner route. Yeah. And
the chemistry that him and RG3 had, the chemistry that RG3 and Pierre Garçon had, even Niles Paul, what was his name? Aldridge Robinson, Anthony Anderson. I think was it Anthony Anderson? AAA.
Anthony Armstrong.
That's the one they call AAA. The way he used to find those guys deep and hit them in stride. This is why
that's part of the Kyle Shanahan offense.
And it worked great. But you know
like they always had, and if you look at San Francisco now, there's always a guy that can just run faster than the wind. It used to be Ricky James, who was with the Giants last year. I forgot who he signed with this year. He had Aldridge Robinson in San Francisco for a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You know why that was so successful in 2012? Why he was able to throw like that?
You gonna give Alfred Morris some love?
No. I mean, much as I love Alf, the glowworm is my man. But it was because of the threat of the run.
All right.
That's why that play action, to be able to be in the pistol and you fake it to Alfred and you take 2 steps and the linebackers freeze, the DN freeze because they trying to contain. Don't let them get out of the pocket. Then all of a sudden the DBs come up. Oh, shoot, they behind us. And all he got to do is flick his wrist. You know, arm strength is out the gym.
Oh, no, I remember this kid. So I was on Robert week 1. They play. I'm in a bar. I'm watching BYU Baylor. And I saw him the year before, but I saw him get hurt. And I see this kid 10. I'm like, A, automatically like him because number choice. But that's a whole different story for another show. And then B, I'm watching them play. I'm like, yo, I say that season, I think that's 2011, that college football season, I have a top 5. When my memories come up, I'm going to make sure I post it. I said Robert Griffin III is winning the Heisman. I called it. Because when I saw him that game, it's like there's nothing like him. And like it's funny because people try to call me a hater of Robert, but dog, if you understand the amount of film work I did on Robert, bruh, that summer after we drafted him, I'll never forget the trade. So hold on, that might be one of the biggest moments that we forgot. Is the Robert Griffin Jr., Robert Griffin III trade night. Because I know for a fact the radio stations, they had to have overnight shift when that trade was done. I think my boy called me at like midnight or 1 o'clock. I'm at my girl's place on Waldorf. I get out of the bed, go downstairs, turn on NFL Network, and he and I are on the phone for like 2 hours talking about this trade. So that has to be in the top 5. Just the trade itself. Like, I think you have to separate the trade from the saga.
Yeah. But here's the thing. That you gotta throw that in there too. The way that when I say handle personnel, the way Snyder sided with RG3.
He always sided with the player, it was the only time he didn't side with the player was when they messed up LeVar's deal. and I think that was garbage. Who else was one of his boys that he just kind of? Oh, and the Trent Williams.
Yeah,
he turned on Trent at the end. Like everybody talks about him being there, supportive about the getting them the treatments and all that, but at the end, they're honestly number 6, 7, or 8. One of these numbers has to be the sheer pettiness of the organization.
Yes,
because it has cost them. You got nothing for. You got a 3rd round pick for Kirk as a compensatory pick when the year before San Fran offered you a 1. You got a 3rd round pick for Trent when there's no way you shouldn't have gotten a 1 for him. But because, go ahead.
Now this is just jump off subject a little bit because you asked me a question on Thursday. You said in the last 10 years, talent that's left here that and you know produced elsewhere. There's your 2 right there, Kirk and Trent. I don't have to go no further than that.
But that's all right. I know what you're saying. So then your 3 would be Lorenzo Alexander.
One man game.
But all right. So that's 3. You good? You just dropping the mic. You like a poet that just dropped some dope lines. You just like.
Didn't the Rams send out all the players in that draft for the coin toss when they played the Redskins? Yes, they did. I was at that game.
But you know what? The funny thing about that,
Jeff
Rams never finished over 8-8 in that whole stretch.
Yeah. And
so you can bring up the draft picks all you want, but you didn't win.
But hold on. That game, I remember that game. Colt McCoy. Now I don't think Kirk played that game. I think Colt McCoy played that game and was getting dismantled. They finally put RG3 in and the ball started moving, but it was too late by then. I was at the top of the stadium. My sister took me to that game. It was out of all the games that I ever went to, Redskin games that I ever went to, that was the first game I went to that they lost.
Wow.
That was the first game I went to, and I was distraught. I was up at the top of the stadium walking around. I was like, Young, put Robert in the game. I'm coaching from the stands. Everybody looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, y'all sitting down, man. Y'all got to get up, do something. Get behind this team. Man, people was like, man, won't you sit down? I was like, won't you fight me? I was angry.
I feel bad because there's an old guy when I was in my 20s. So, you know, I got I had a tendency to get a little excited. Not much, but a little excited. And, yeah. I see a nice little crackback, especially Darrell Young. Oh, Darrell Young used to catch somebody every week.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But go ahead. Let's. Are we still in the defining moments? I don't know where we at.
I think we got them.
I think we got 20 right now. I think we got the top 20.
we way past 3.
Yeah.
But last segment, we started off talking about music. We're gonna end this up talking about music. This is the hip hop moment we promised. We talked about Mos Def and Edwin being at the Erykah Badu concert last Tuesday, and he was talking about so underrated. I'm not gonna say underrated. We're not gonna talk about that top tier. When you talk about your Tupacs, your Biggies, your Jay-Z's, Nas, your Kanye's. We're not talking about that. We talk about
Eminem.
What everybody has in that next tier. The ones you know, people don't, you gotta be what I like to call, my wife hates when I say this, but you gotta be aquatic enough to listen to them. You know, if you
I like that term.
You know, you can't understand them. Like in that vein, we got Mos Def, you got J. Cole, you got Kendrick Lamar. It's people that actually can't stand these guys. And I'm like, that's lyricism.
I'm glad that wasn't my 3. Jesus. You just almost obliterated my list. I'm gonna tell you a great story. So I'm in my car. I'm coaching basketball at Don Bosco. Shout out to my boys Frank Simpson, Justin Cottrell. And I got this kid, Jordan Lyles. If you're into music, Jordan Lyles is on Apple Music. Kid's a dope artist. Before I knew he was going to be an artist, he was in my car one day because I used to always take him home from practice. He was like, Coach, you a music guy. What you know about J. Cole? I was like, I don't know nothing about J. Cole. So I think, because this is the CD era, so I can't remember if I bought a CD, he burnt me a CD. I don't know how it is. But I ended up getting J. Cole, the first album. And at that time in my car, if your album was dope, the way your album, like, it was almost like earning platinum. If your CD lasted in my car for a month with no interruption, that's your version of going platinum in my car. And that CD, what's the one? I forgot the name of it. It's not the. Is it the first one? I don't know which one it is, but whenever I got introduced to J. Cole, it was like on and popping. And that kid introduced me to him. And like, I literally spent the whole summer rocking J. Cole. I mean, it's to the point that I think at the time Josh was 8. So Power Trip is on this CD. And if you know Power Trip, you got your mute button on. Miguel is on that song. And he sings a hook. And I'll never forget getting a phone call because my 8-year-old son is listening to the radio with his mom. And when the Miguel part comes up, I think it's what? If you tell me, go ahead. What's the?
Would you believe me if I said I'm in love? Baby, I want you. I need you.
So my 8-year-old goes full throttle on that section in the car with his mother. My phone rings so fast. He's like, what you got my baby listen to? I was like, what you talking about? He was like, J. Cole is on and my son's singing, why don't you tell me if you believe it? I was like, that's his song. She was like, what? I was like, hey, my bad. Like, he's like that, and he used to love, speaking of Raheem Devon, Woman. He used to love that joint.
No, we didn't mention Big Daddy Kane earlier. That's top tier too. Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One, Rakim. That's top tier in my book always.
Right.
I have
Cool J.
Yeah, I got a list, and I separate my list. You got storytellers, you got lyricists, and you got rappers. When it comes to lyricism, I had somebody tell me, well, Lil Wayne's a better lyricist than anybody on your list. And I was like, well, my list goes KRS-One. KRS-One is number 1. That's the number 1 lyricist. 2 is Rakim. 3 is Big Daddy Kane. Well, how you going to have Big Daddy Kane over Jay-Z? I said, because Jay-Z's flow came from Big Daddy Kane, if you know what you're talking about. He used to be Big Daddy Kane. So let's not even go there. And I was like, Ice Cube over all of them. You know, over anybody that you got on your list. I said, that's 4. I said, Wayne is, dude tried to tell me Wayne was number 1 overall. I said, I can name 25 rappers better than Lil Wayne all time. He's like, he the greatest all time. I said, I'm going to name 25. And I named 25. He didn't agree with my 25. He's like, man, no, you can't put him on there. I said, you talking all time.
All right. So, hip-hop moment. So let's alternate this because I'm curious on your list.
Okay.
And I don't want to be like 1, 2, 3 because I think there might be some intersection, might not be. So my number 3 artist for this list, man, I think he had Song of the Year in '94, J. Rue the Damager.
I can't hate on that.
Number 3, KG.
Are we talking all time?
You can go wherever you want, brother. It's hip hop moment. So we
talking not everybody, not in everybody's playlist, not listened to all the time.
Right.
I'm gonna go with a newer one.
Okay. I'm
gonna say Young Gravy.
That's just your son like him.
Well, we both got into him at the same time.
Okay. All right.
Yes, we did.
Oh, I was definitely before you. That was.
I was about to say. I know that's
you heard that.
You ain't pick up Young Gravy.
I just so happened to not listen to him, and he was like, "Oh, you know about him?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just recently started."
Whatever. He always want to take.
Hey! On your face right here is that gray patch. That gray patch tells me you ain't find Young Gravy first.
I heard Ali in a video. It was an Instagram reel, and I heard, and I was like, "What is that?"
Listening to him before Ali.
Exactly. Give the kid his credit.
Okay, he might have turned me on to it, but I turned him on to Easy, so it don't matter.
All right, so you go for your second.
Number 2, underrated. Oh my gosh. He raising his hand. He gonna say Denzel Curry.
Him too, but I was gonna say Freddie Gibbs.
Oh, Freddie Gibbs. He said Freddie Gibbs.
I mean, he can't contribute unless he on. No. I still got beef because he didn't do the show with me that time. So he can't contribute unless he on screen. Pull your phone out, put the stream y'all on, get in the studio so we can. Come on, dog. You cheating? That's how you gonna contribute on the sideline. I'm sorry.
For me, number 2, I'm gonna go new again because I mean all my underrated ones are pretty new, and that's Rico Nasty.
Okay,
I actually like her.
Okay. See, you can tell that my son isn't into either one of these guys, so I'm in a whole different stratosphere.
That's my daughters can't stand her and Sweetie, Sweetie,
something like that. Yeah,
they can't. Now she got a song with Hit Boy. I love it. It was on the Madden soundtrack, but I love the song. And it's like a piece of the song. I don't know what movie he got it from. I don't know who it is. But
you know what? We could have gone 5 now.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be this young. Oh, I'm good. So my 2 is Talib Kweli.
I don't see. He's not underrated to me.
Really? All right. So then
he's not underrated. Like him and Mos. Gangstar.
All right. So Gangstar. Let's fun story for you on Gangstar real quick. I'm gonna be real quick because we at like the hour 2 mark. I used to always go to the store to buy a Gangstar CD, and I'd always get distracted and buy something else. I felt bad, but yeah, that's my Gangstar moment. I gave you the short version. So 1. Now, see, I think if you say you think Talib is up there, then this 1 might not work. My 1 is Big L.
Slim. Me and B had a conversation about Big L, me and the boss BJ, and we were talking about how he was getting ready to take over the game. He was going to be the greatest rapper of all time.
He was going to change it. Yeah, for sure.
Because
I still remember that black CD with the silver L in the middle.
That Big Picture album.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was it? Deadly Combination with him and Tupac. Now that was another pull-up song. That, and then listening to him and Jay-Z go back and forth on the 98 freestyle. Not the 98 freestyle, the Stretch and Bobbito show. And I was like, okay, listening to Jay-Z rap then and listening to Big L. Big L was light years ahead of Jay-Z.
Right.
He was light years ahead of him.
Well, I always say that Jay-Z's biggest impact on his career is the fact that Pac and Biggie died.
And Big L. Because Big L didn't die.
Right.
Now, if I got to pick number 1, as we talking underrated, jeez.
Ooh, I got a topic for next week now.
Even though he only did, I think, 2 albums. Most people wouldn't believe it, but I think Cool C was one of the most underrated artists in the early 90s. With Glamorous Life, I Got a Habit. That whole entire CD, I used to know it forward, backward, sideways. I had no business saying some of the stuff on that daggone album. But everybody say, what's your moment that you fell in love with the rap game or hip hop?
Right.
Slick Rick, 1987, 88, Treated Like a Prostitute. Of all things to fall in love with, Yeah, it was that.
I think mine was Children's Story, Slick Rick.
First song I ever freestyle to.
Okay.
First now, but let me say this. Jean Grae. I think take Cool C off. Give me Jean Grae.
Okay.
Jean Grae as my most underrated as a producer and as a artist.
Okay.
Man, she got a song called Love Thirst. When we finish this, go look up Love Thirst. Just look up the instrumental and just listen to the instrumental. I was thinking that I was a writer. I could write.
I mean, come on. I'm not going to writers. People can write because it's always your story. And the key I always tell people when you try to write is write your story. Don't write somebody else's.
Yeah.
So you can write. It's just how you go through the whole process, man.
Well, no, when I say write, I mean I actually wrote an entire song. I took beats and wrote. I sat down 2 days. I wrote a whole entire song.
That's the only thing I can't do.
But I just put it together as a freestyle, just like what I wanted my topic to be. And I wrote the beat on it. I was like, yeah, okay. And then I took the Love Thirst instrumental and went with it. And I feel like her music is like so underrated because nobody really knows about Jean Grae. You gotta really be into her. And if you've ever played Midnight Club Dub Edition, Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition, when you go in the garage, Going Crazy plays. And that's one of the instrumentals. And to listen to that song and Threats and Haters Out, Anthem, everything that she puts out, like she is just beast, man. I love her.
What's the song you talking about?
Oh, for the instrumental?
No, you said Jean Grae. There was something else that you said. One of her top songs.
Crazy.
Okay, well, damn, she got more than that, then. Cause
she got a lot of songs, but she's underrated. Like on Dub Edition, she was one of the main contributors to the soundtrack to that because she had a lot of instrumentals on it. Her, Anderson .Paak.
Now you on a Saturday, yeah. Anderson .Paak and keep it. Oh man, boy. Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, boy. Them are boys.
Yeah. Bruno Mars and Gorilla. Ain't that right, Lovey?
There you go.
Bruno Mars and Gorilla.
About to start it.
All she did was start giggling.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh boy, all I can say is that woman loves her silverback, don't you, baby?
Oh boy. Here we go.
Well, I think we need to go ahead and end this show.
I'm trying to keep the show on the rails as much as we can, bro. You done lost focus already.
But you look at it.
You know what's funny?
What's that?
Like this is the reason why I like doing like certain things like this because you know people or you talk to people, but you never know what their choices are, like their song choices. So I'm thinking, since we're in the dog days of the summer, either Thursday or next Tuesday, you go with your top 3 artists that left the group.
Okay.
I don't know if we do that Thursday or we do that Tuesday. I'm gonna leave that to you.
We got business to handle on Tuesday.
Well, business handle on Thursday because we could do another 20 items that Dan Snyder messed up or that we liked about it. So yeah, let's leave that for next Tuesday. So next Tuesday is top 3 artists that left a group. So we're talking about any member of Wu-Tang.
Shit,
you on your list.
Go right there. You just throw it.
You could, but I'm just saying you can go with any of them there. So let's do this. So you can't use meth.
And are we talking hip hop? Or are we talking any genre?
Song in hip hop.
Okay.
Hip hop.
See, all right, never mind. Because I was about.
I know you about to. Your first one's gonna be Teddy P.
No. First one's gonna be David Ruffin.
I knew you. I forgot. I'm sorry. I forgot who I was talking to.
David Ruffin, then Eddie Kendricks after that.
See, Teddy P live in Paris singing "Lady." That gets played sometimes too. Dog, ain't nothing doper than that.
Look, I'll give you that. But have you ever done "Intimate Friends" by Eddie Kendricks?
You know what? I'll give you that one now. I'll go ahead and that will be my homework for this evening.
"Intimate Friends" and "Girl, You Need to Change Your Mind." You can fight society.
All right.
That man said, "You can fight society, but don't fight loving me, baby."
Right. Add it to the library. Add it to the library.
And then my number 3 would be Bootsy Collins.
Okay, so you just so we want to stay in hip hop.
Okay, in hip hop, I got you. Let me write that down so I don't deviate.
Yeah,
like, well, that's not what it's supposed to be.
Damn, I'm trying to think now. How many people left groups to have success as a solo artist?
Plenty.
Oh yeah. We got. I already know the top 3, so we gotta go 5 because you can't have 3. I already know 3 off the top of my head just without even thinking about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Jack in the crack.
All right, we come to the end of the show. Let me ask this question before we get out of here. You said something.
Everybody know you hid the money from the robbery. Don't you think it's about time to be coming up with my cash? I'm sorry.
You said something earlier. Well, I want you to do this really, really quick.
All right.
Do you think the Heisman Trophy has lost its luster? Like, no. If you're the best player in college football, why is the Heisman Trophy winner 9 times out of 10 not picked in the top 5 picks anymore?
Okay, so that's not exactly true right now because we're on a trend where they're playing quarterbacks. So because this is a quarterback hungry league, Bryce Young won the Heisman. He's there, and he got picked at 1 overall. Baker Mayfield's won the Heisman. He's 1 overall. So I think the better question is, like, how come they haven't found NFL success at the same level in college? And I would venture to say that I felt bad for Baker that last year in Cleveland because I felt like his receivers let him down. I feel like they dropped passes on him in situations. And as a quarterback, if you know and you understand with a quarterback, sometimes you struggling to get in the rhythm. And all you need is that one that you throw on the money to get caught. And then now now I'm feeling good. You know what I'm saying? Like I seen guys, like, if you pay attention, like every quarterback, when they start feeling good, they got like mannerisms. Some jokers, they go into the hands no matter what with the cadence. You know what I'm saying? Blue 20. You know what I'm saying? Get your hands out, boom, you ready to go because you in that vibe and that rhythm. And I felt like Jason Campbell had those moments at times to go say Redskins. Like, I think he had moments where he was locked in. And I think at times his receiving core sometimes let him down with drops and things of that nature. I think also their defense let them down. But Heisman quarterbacks, running backs are tough because I think we're going so far from the running back. And I think we're starting to see this because everybody understands that the Shanahan way is the way. It's the way and the light of the truth.
You know what? We need to talk about that on Thursday. Some comments were made about running backs, so we need to pencil that in for Thursday.
Okay.
Most definitely, because I want to hear you.
You're going to yell. This is the episode where you're going to be upset with me, but I got you.
I already know you're standing.
Yeah.
But I'll put that graphic up on Thursday. But for every Bryce Young you have a Gino Torretta. A guy that was picked,
right.
That never got a chance to play.
But I think also you got to remember, like, I think back then the Heisman was different because it was more about the stage that the guys were on. I think now there are more guys, more quarterbacks, because I'm gonna say it that way. More quarterbacks that get the opportunity to win the award. The kid from TCU, which I didn't think he was. I think he had some great moments, but TCU was behind or trailed a lot last season, and they just came back. So when they played Georgia, I was like, if they not in this ball game in the first 10 minutes, it's gonna be a long night. Because Georgia defense is too good and too special. But yeah, I think that's the thing with the Heisman. I think recently there's some recency bias in the guys being picked earlier. So I don't know if that narrative actually fits. I think more of the narrative is them finding success in the league.
Yeah, because I mean, you look at your Heisman Trophy winners from '89 on with the quarterback.
Let's stay in the last five because we in there wrap that shit up. Be part of the show.
Okay, I went back because I wanted to say something about Ty Detman. I got a beef with Ty Detman.
Oh boy,
seriously, but he shouldn't have won the Heisman. But Mariota, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow's got success, and Bryce Young. We're gonna really see him this season.
So he's got it incomplete. Baker has had flashes. Mariota,
an injury.
I think Mariota just showed us last year that he just can't throw. Like I don't know what happened. I don't know what it is, but there's no way Kyle Pitts should have like a touchdown or 0 touchdowns. I think Drake London saved them a couple times. And with the team that they have in the running game, they're going to have. I mean, Atlanta's a team to watch. I said it last year, but I'm going to say it every year, especially with Bijan Robinson. I'm not going to say – because I'm not really a big Bijan Robinson fan if you paid attention to this. You know, I don't really like the kid that much.
Says the guy that was just like, you got to draft Bijan Robinson. I'm telling you, he's a dog. I watched tape on him.
Dog, best runner. Oh, so I'm going to let you know right now. Next year, he plays. We're going to stay in Texas. His name is Quinn Ewers, whatever you want to call it. Ewers. You're going to hear me say his name a whole bunch of times when we do shows after College Football Saturday. So might as well get ready. All right. The backup or the next guy that might get some love from me is Hudson Card. Again, a kid from Texas. But he's at Purdue now. Another kid that might get some love from me. I'm sorry.
I only had nothing to say. But we come to the end of it. Thank you all for joining us. Man, this is from the top to the bottom, all the music.
From the rooter to the tootie.
And everything in between. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your Tuesday evening. That's the Midnight Rider. I'm the big guy, KG. We don't do no overtime, y'all. We are out of here.